Hi friends, my name is Nandita. I am from Andhra Pradesh.
Good morning dear students. Today we are going to discuss about control and coordination from chapter 7 class 10 CBSE syllabus. Children, let us discuss the parts and functions of forebrain. First one is cerebrum. The cerebrum is the largest part in the human brains. It is divided into two hemispheres called cerebral hemispheres. It sits mainly in the anterior and middle cranial fossa of the skull. Our cerebrum is the largest part of your brain and handles a wide range of responsibilities. Children, the average adult human brain weighs between 1300 grams to 1400 grams or about 3 pounds. The weight of an brain can vary depending on age, sex, race, environment, and socio-economic conditions. Let us see the weight of brain in sex. When it comes to the male, the average brain weight of an adult male is about 1336 grams. When it comes to female, the average brain weight of an adult female is about 1998 grams. Children, let us discuss the brain weight of age. When the newborn babies have, the average brain weight of a newborn baby is about 350 to 400 grams, and when they come to age of 20, the brain weight of a male is about 1400 grams. Then it comes to 65, the brain weight of a male is about 1300 grams, and the brain weight of any body height, the brain weight increases about 3 to 7 grams for each centimeter of the body height. The brain weight and the intelligence. Children, some says that larger brains are associated with higher intelligence, but this relationship is not always clear. Children, the surface of the cerebrum is formed by an outer grey matter layer which is thrown into a convoluted pattern of ridges and furrows called gray and sulci respectively. Deep to cerebral cortex is an inner mass of white matter which forms a bulk of cerebrum and contain myelinated nerve fibers that convey informations or from the cerebral cortex. Children, now let us discuss in detail about what is cerebral cortex. The cerebral cortex. Cerebral cortex is a thin layer of a brain tissue on the surface of your cerebrum. The word cortex comes from the Latin word of bark as an outer layer of a tree trunk. The cerebral cortex is necessary for memory storage, attention, awareness, thought, language, and consequences. The brain consists of two types of tissues. Already we discussed that. First one is gray matter and white matter. The outer layer of cerebrum are made from gray matter. The gray matter is formed by neurons and their unmyelinated fibers. The white matter below the gray matter of the cortex is formed predominantly by myelinated axons. The surface of every hemisphere is formed from gray matter, referred to as the cerebral mantle, and is folded to extend the area available within the skull. The cortex has roles within perception, memory, and every one higher thought process. Inside the cortex is that the substantia alba, within which are a variety of nuclei referred to as basal nuclei. The basal nuclei receive information from the cortex to manage skeletal movement and other higher motor functions. The gray matter mainly consists of various types of cells which make up a bulk of brain. White matter is primarily composed of axons which connect various gray matter areas of the brain with each other. The exterior portion of the cerebrum is called cortex or cerebral mantle. The surface of the cerebral mantle is folded in mammals. More than 2/3 of the surface is within grooves or sulci. Already we discussed that. The cerebral cortex is connected to the structures such as thalamus and the basal ganglion, sending information to them along with different connections and receiving information from them via afferent connections. Most sensory information is routed to the cerebral mantle via the thalamus, and the cortex is commonly described as comprising three parts, that is sensory, motor, and association areas. Already we discussed that. The cortex is extremely convoluted, due to which It has a large surface area. The cerebrum also includes the sensory areas to receive the messages, and we discussed that association areas. These are integrated the incoming sensory information. It also forms connection between sensory and motor areas. The motor areas is also responsible for action of the voluntary muscles. Children, the cerebrum divided into cerebral hemisphere connected by a mass of white matter is known as corpus callosum. Each hemisphere is split into four lobes, that is frontal lobe, parietal lobe, occipital lobe and temporal lobe. Children, let us discuss in detail about the four lobes. First one is frontal lobe. Frontal lobe at the front of your head. This lobe handles things like attention, behavior control, sense what's appropriate to and what's not, the ability to speak, and certain types of muscle movement. It is associated with parts of speech, planning, reasoning, problem solving, and movements. Children, let us discuss about parietal lobe. Parietal lobe is situated at the top of your head. This area handles touch, temperature and pain signals. It also helps with how you see the world around you, especially judging distance from and the size of objects. It also plays a role in processing sounds, language you speak, your ability to use numbers and count, and how you organize information and make decisions helps in movements, the perception of stimuli and orientation. Children, now let us discuss about occipital lobe. The occipital lobe situated at the side of your head. This area helps you understand language when other people are speaking. It also helps you recognize people and objects. This part also helps you connect emotions with memories. It is related to visual processing. Next, insular. Deep inside of your brain, it is present underneath your frontal, parietal and temporal lobes. This part of your brain handles taste sense. It may also help process certain types of emotions like compassion and empathy. Children, now let us discuss about temporal lobe. It is situated at your back of your head. This lobe manages much of your eye's sensory input, including the ability to see movement and colors. This region is related to perception and recognition of memory, auditory stimuli, and speech. A few structures that are the part of your cerebrum stand out because they have very specific purpose. Children, now let us discuss the functions of cerebrum. The cerebrum responsible for thinking, intelligence, consciousness and memory. It is also responsible for interpreting touch, hearing and vision. Your cerebrum handles much of your brain conscious actions. That means it is responsible for elements that require thinking, including your five sense organs. Your cerebrum manages and processes everything your senses take in. That includes sight, sound, smell, taste and touch. Language. Various parts of your cerebrum controls your ability to read, write and speak. Working memory of cerebrum. This is a type of short-term memory. An example of working memory is when you remind yourself to pick up something from the grocery store. Behavior and personality. The part of your cerebrum is your frontal lobe, which manages your personality and behavior. It's the part of your brain that acts as a filter to stop you from doing or saying things you may later regret. Movement. Certain areas of your cerebrum send signals that tell your muscles what to do when you need to use them. Learning, logic and reasoning of cerebrum. Different areas of your cerebrum work together when you need to learn a new skill, make a plan of an action or a puzzle out of a problem. Children, let us discuss how cerebrum help with other organs. Your cerebrum works together with other parts of your brain, especially your cerebellum, to help you with your daily activities. An example of this is picking up a pencil off a table. Your cerebrum sends the signals to the muscles in your arms, and your cerebellum helps calculate and controls your movements so your hand goes right to the pencil without missing. Your cerebellum not only manages consequence thoughts but also planning and action. That includes when you decide to be physically active, choose what you want to eat for a meal, or to set aside time to see in a healthcare provided for any reason. Because of this, your cerebrum plays a critical role in the health and well-being of your entire body. Children, let us discuss some interesting facts of your cerebrum. First one is cross presented. When you do something with one side of your body, the other side of your brain is usually behind that process. An example of this is having a stroke on the left side of your brain and feeling it effects on the right side of your body. Your brain is very adaptable. Your brain can rewire itself. This ability can happen as you learn new skills or help your recovery from injuries to your brain. Your brain has a specialized areas. Different parts of your brains are responsible for different abilities and skills. However, that's also fed into the disproven myth that comes people are left brain and right brain. Children, now let us discuss about disorders of cerebrum. The cerebrum disorders are conditions that affect the cerebrum, which is the part of the brain. These disorders can be caused by numerous factors, including genetics, trauma, infections, lifestyle choices. Children, now let us discuss the types of disorders in cerebrum. Alzheimer's disease, a disease that affects the brain. Anxiety disorders, a mental health condition that affects the brain. Next one is attention defect hyperactivity disorder, ADHD, a neuropsychiatric disorder that affects the brain. Stroke, a cerebrovascular disease that affects the brain. The next one is contusion and traumatic brain injuries, the brain injuries that can be affected the brain. Epilepsy, a condition that affects the brain. Next one is dementia. Dementia is a disorder that affects the brain. And depression, a mental health condition, also affects the brain. Then cerebral palsy, a disorder that the brain abilities to control movements. And the brain tumors, a type of brain disease that affect the brain. And hydrocephalus, a condition that affects the brain. Then multiple sclerosis, a condition that affects the brain. These are the examples of cerebrum disorders. Thank you.